So, dear students, let us continue our discussion on problems of capacitance. 25th problem is as follows. A parallel plate capacitor collects a charge of 3 microcoulomb when connected to 1.5 volt battery with air as dielectric. On replacing the air, with air as dielectric, on replacing the air with a dielectric material, the capacitor collects 9 microcoulomb of charge. Find the dielectric constant of the material and also the energy stored in it when the material has dielectric. The material has dielectric. So now we have a parallel plate capacitor with the two situations. In the first situation, the capacitor has air in it, and in the second situation, the capacitor has certain dielectric medium field in it. So let the capacitance of the capacitor when there is air filled be simply C, and the capacitance of the capacitor when there is certain different medium filled with certain dielectric be Cm. Then according to the given problem, when it is simply air, then the capacitor collects 3 microcoulomb charge, right? And when it is certain medium filled, the new amount of charge stored be Qm, which is equal to the new one stored is how much? 9 microcoulomb charge, right? And both of them are connected to the same battery. In both the situations, the battery is not changed. The potential difference across the plates of the capacitor remains the same. So here V is equal to 1.5 volt. Even here, even when the medium is introduced, the potential difference remains the same, 1.5 volt. And what is asked to find? Find the dielectric constant of the material and the energy stored when the material is filled with the dielectric. So first let us work for the dielectric constant of the medium epsilon r. What we know is epsilon r is equal to Cm by C, right? In some situations I have taken this as Ca, right? Capacitance in the presence of air between the plates. That's also fine, you can take that. Here I have taken it as simply C, but we do not have the idea about Cm and C, they are not given, but we do have idea about Qm and Q, right? So let us express C in terms of Q. The general formula is, we know that C is equal to Q by V. Using this formula here, Cm becomes Qm by Vm divided by C becomes Q by V, right? And yes, Vm is equal to V, so I can cancel them. Qm by Q is what remains here, which is 9 into 10 to the power of minus 6 by 3 into 10 to the power of minus 6. So our epsilon r becomes equal to 10 to the power of minus 6 cancels, 3 1s are, 3 3s are 9. So it's epsilon r is equal to 3, unitless and dimensionless. So this is the value of epsilon r. And next they are asking us to find the energy stored in the system when the dielectric is filled. Means for the second situation they are asking us to find the energy stored. Energy stored in the presence of medium. That is why I named it as UM. You can simply keep it as U, that's also fine. But here I want to specify it. So it's better if you keep a habit of writing the symbols with proper meaning, so that you have details in it. So we all know that the formula is U is equal to half C V squared. In presence of medium, Um is equal to Cm half Cm Vm squared. We do not have Cm, but again we will make use of this formula, which is Qm by Vm, okay, or else different expressions of Um itself can be memorized, or else if you do not memorize all the formula, simply half Cv square is fine. If you remember half Cv square, that's also fine, and you can replace Cm by Qm by Vm, right. So it is going to be Qm by Vm into Vm squared. So one of that will cancel, which will be half into Qm Vm, right, half into Qm Vm. So energy stored is equal to half. What is the charge stored in the system when it is connected to charge stored in the capacitor when there is dielectric field? It is 9 microcoulomb, right. So Q is equal to 9 microcoulomb, 9 into 10 to the power of minus 6 into the potential difference or the battery to which it is connected is 1.5 volt. So it is 1.5, which will be, simplify this, after simplification you will get the value of equal to 6.75 into 10 to the power of minus 6 joule. Okay. So this is the expression for potential energy stored in the capacitor when there is medium field in between the plates. Here they have not specifically asked to find the capacitance values C and Cm. If they have asked us to find the values of C and Cm, before we come into this expression, we will solve Cm individually and C individually, so that we get the answers, and then you can put them into any equation that you want. Okay. But in this problem, since we are not asked to find the value of Cm individually alone, don't need to worry. It's which we are concentrating on, the energy is what we are concentrating on. So you can directly consider this formula and simplify. Clear? Okay. This is 25th question. Next, question number 26 as follows. The plates of a parallel plate capacitor have an area of 90 centimeters square each and are separated by 2.5 millimeter. The capacitor is charged by connecting it to a 400 volt supply. This is the given data. Sub question A, the first sub question, how much electrostatic energy is stored by the capacitor? U has to be found. View this energy has the stored in electrostatic field between the plates, and obtain the energy per unit volume. Okay, nothing much complex. You just need to find U by V, energy stored divided by total volume between the space of the parallel plate capacitor, or between the space of the plates of the capacitor. Okay, fine. So first let me write the given data. Question number 26. Plates of the parallel plate capacitor have an area of 90 centimeter squared. So area of the capacitor is 90 centimeter squared into 10 to the power of minus 4 meters squared. Separated by a distance small d is equal to 2.5 millimeter, 2.5 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter. The capacitor is charged by connecting it to a 400 volt supply. V is equal to 400 volt, right. How much electrostatic energy is stored, which means U has to be found, energy stored, right. The expression of energy stored involves U is equal to half C V squared. Yes, we are given with the value of V, fine, but we do not have the value of C, the capacitance. Can we find capacitance? Yes, we can. We have the values of A and D given. Let us put them here. So C is equal to epsilon naught A by D, which is equal to 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12 into area of the plates given 90 into 10 to the power of minus 4. divided by distance of separation is 2.5 into 10 to the power of minus 3. Okay, it's millimeter now, so that's why 10 to the power of minus 3. After simplification, the capacitance of the given capacitor becomes equal to, okay, anyhow the capacitance value is not asked here, but you make use of calculator and get the value of C. Okay, that's given to you. Write that once anyhow, but what I need is U. Okay, so U becomes equal to half the capacitance value that you will get. Okay, or I will put this itself. Okay, half CV square, no, C is this entire value, I will put the same value into 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12 into 90 into 10 to the power of minus 4 divided by 2.5 into 10 to the power of minus 3 into V squared, 400 squared. Okay, make use of calculator, that's fine. Now here if you are asked to find the capacitance, you must get the value of C. If you are not asked to get the value of capacitance like this problem, don't need to worry about the value of C, you can put this simplification there and solve. Okay, right. So U, after making use of calculator, you find, I will write the answer directly. Energy stored becomes equal to 2.55 into 10 to the power of minus 6 joule. Okay, 2.55 into 10 to the power of minus 6 joule, right. So this is the amount of energy stored in the capacitor, the total amount of energy stored in the capacitor. And now let us look into the second part, where we will get the energy per unit volume. This is the total energy, and now we need to get the energy per unit volume. So when we want energy per unit volume, we should have volume first, so that we divide energy stored by the volume, you will get energy per unit volume. Right, first let me get the volume between the plates. Okay, part B of the question. So I need to get some term which is U, which I will take that as U, which is energy per unit volume. The energy stored is U, volume, let the volume be say because we have assigned capital V for voltage, so that I put volume as volume with some new term. Let me write volume itself. Okay, I don't want you to confuse that with the potential difference. So energy by volume. We do know the value of U, but we don't know what's this volume. Okay, so volume is equal to, look at this, area of the plates, right, into distance between the plates will give you the volume, right. It's just like a cuboid, length into breadth into height, right. Length into breadth, okay, if I keep the capacitor like this, okay, length into breadth is the area of the plate, height is the distance between the plates. Following? If I keep the capacitor like this, this is this area into this height will give me the volume. Okay, so volume is equal to area into distance between the plates. Area of the plates is 90 into 10 to the power of minus 4. Distance between the plates is 2.5 into 10 to the power of minus 3, which then becomes equal to 2.25 into 10 to the power of minus 5 meter cube. Okay, this is the volume. What we need is U, energy per unit volume. U is 2.55 into 10 to the power of minus 6 divided by volume is 2.25 into 10 to the power of minus 6. So U, energy per unit volume, becomes equal to 0.113 joule per meter cube, right? Joule per meter cube. So this is the answer for the first part of the question, capital U, and this is the answer for the second part of the question, small u, energy per unit volume. Okay. So whenever they ask energy per unit volume, get the volume between the plates and divide it for keep it in the denominator of the total energy stored, you will get energy stored per unit volume. Okay, now let us move ahead for the next question, 27th, as follows. Okay. Obtain the equivalent capacitance of the following network figure for a 300 volt supply. Determine the charge and voltage across each capacitor. Okay. So this requires this is actually a lengthy one, but not that difficult. Okay, we can solve it, nothing to worry. So now we have this circuit given where we have 4 capacitors, C1 100 picofarad, C2 200 picofarad, C3 200 picofarad again, C4 100 picofarad. All these capacitors connected in this arrangement with a 300 volt supply here. Okay. So now we need to get the effective capacitance across these 2 points. Okay. These 2 points are our reference. Okay. So I'll make use of the reducing the circuit approach. So first the first reduction, this is the given one. Look at this. Okay, before that, look, what they are asking us to find is charge and voltage across each capacitor has to be found, right? So see, charge on this, charge on this, charge on this, charge on this has to be found. Before we find the charge on each of the capacitor, we actually need to get the effective capacitor, right? Once we get the value of effective capacitor, the advantage that we'll have is we can actually get the charge stored in individual parts of this. Okay. So let us work for the effective capacitance first. So you will get to know why we did it. So the effective capacitor can be found if we reduce the circuit. Okay. So upon reducing the circuit, let me keep this C1 as it is. Okay. Now look, C2 and C3 are in series, right? So the effective capacitance of C2 and C3 together, question number 27. The effective capacitance of C2 and C3 together, I will call that as C23. Okay. Since they are in series, C23 is equal to C2 C3 divided by C2 plus C3. This I have obtained by 1 by Cs is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2. Okay, you will get it. Now, which becomes equal to, pico is common, we can take it out, even that's zeros, but fine. Let me put 200 into 200 divided by 200 plus 200. Simplify this, C23 becomes equal to say 200 plus 200 is 2 times 200. So one of the 200 cancels, then simplify it. Okay. This will be, don't multiply this 200 into 200 divided by 2 times 200, right? 200 plus 200 is 2 times 200 or 400. Okay, that's fine. 200 2 ones are 200s, and these 200s cancel. So C23, the effective capacitance due to the series combination of C2 and C3 is 100 picofarad. Okay. So this C1 remains equal to 100 picofarad, and the combination of these two, which we have solved now, will give me another capacitor of C2 3 equal to 100 picofarad again, and this is C4 which is again equal to 100 picofarad, and here is the battery, positive minus negative 300 volt. Okay, now see, you shouldn't get confused when you look from when you look without proper observation. You will find that okay, now all these three are in parallel. No, they are not. Okay, be careful, because if you had terminals here and here, then it was parallel, but you did not have it there, have them there. You have the terminals here and here, right? So this is where we should be concentrating on, and these 2 points are our reference. So what I can consider is these two can be considered in parallel, but this one shouldn't be taken because we have battery here. Okay, so the upper part, okay, these two we can consider, because you see the terminal starts here and without break it goes to the other capacitor. So yes, it is parallel. But if you start from here, look at this, it is not going to the other one. It's going to the battery. It's disconnected actually. It's not directly connected to the other capacitor. So I will not touch this. Instead I'll solve these two first. So upon further reduction, C1 and C23, okay, C1 and C23 are in parallel. So I'll name that as C123. Okay, I'll name the effective of C1 and C23 as C123. You can name anything, CA, CBC, but so that I have the clarity, I am naming that as C123. C123 is equal to C1 plus C23, right, because they are in parallel. So you have C1 equal to 100 picofarad plus C23 again equal to 100 picofarad. Together it is 200 picofarad. This is the effective capacitance of the capacitor C123. Okay, both of them together, right? So this is what is C123. So capacitance C1 and C23 put together with the put together in parallel combination. So I can now reduce this into this form. See, C4 is not altered, so this is where C4 remains the same, which is 100 picofarad, and here is 300 volt supply. Okay, this one, and from this point you have, see, I have solved this. This two together is now C123. Okay, these two together is C123, and hence it comes back to C4. So C123 becomes equal to 200 picofarad, right? So now you look, C123 and C4, they are in series with the battery, right? Look at this carefully. This C123 and C4 are in series with the battery, right? It's actually in series. The terminal starts here, one of the capacitor, then the other capacitor comes back to the other terminal, right? So these two are in series. So I can get the reduced form, which I can call as C1234. Okay, so let me grab it. Okay, so C123 and C4 in series now. Therefore, the final effective capacitance, which I will simply consider as C, becomes equal to C123 into C4 divided by C123 plus C4, which is 200 into 100 divided by 200 plus 100, which is 200 into 100 by 300. So it is 200 by 3, which becomes equal to 66.66 picofarad. Okay, fine. This is the final effective capacitance of the reduced circuit. Okay, if they ask you to find the effective capacitance, this is where you should stop. Okay, so we have successfully reduced the circuit. Finally, we have something like this, a single capacitor connected to battery. Okay, this is the final reduced one across this 66.66 picofarad. Okay, so from this we came to this, but the questions asked here are different. Okay, this is one solution which will help you with this kind of problem, but the actual questions asked here are determine the charge and voltage across each capacitor. Okay, so now we need to determine the charge and voltage across each capacitor. Okay, so we should go back now. So let us go back and see what is the charge and voltage across each capacitor. First, from C4 and C123. See, C4 and C123 are connected in series. So when they are connected in series, both C4 and C123 will have same charge accumulated on them, right, which is equal to the charge accumulated on the effective one. Okay, because it is series. So I can say C4, C123 and C will have same charge. So if I can get the charge on C, that will be the same charge on C123 and C4, so that I can get the charge on C4 at least. So now making use of that, here I should find the charge on C. So C is equal to Q by V, Q is equal to CV, C is 66.66 into V, what is V? 300 volt, right? So simplify this. What is that 66.66? Actually, it was 200 by 3, no? If you right, 200 by 3 into 10 to the power of minus 12. Shouldn't forget to put the pico one. So 3 ones are 300s are. So charge on C, C4 and C123 is equal to 100 into 200 is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb. This is charge on C, C123 and C4. So now we got one answer out of 8. C4 has the charge of 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb. Okay. Now, okay, let us continue our discussion on charge itself. So C123 has the charge of this much. How much? 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8. But look at this. What is C123? C123 is the parallel combination of C1 and C23, right? So when you have parallel combination, okay, what is constant there? Voltage is constant, right? But the charges can be different. Charges is actually the sum of the charge on this plus charge on this. So we cannot get the charge there. So better solve for voltage here. First let me solve for voltage across this capacitor C123 and this capacitor C4. Okay. First let us solve for that. The effective is 300 volt. The final voltage to the entire combination is 300, but each capacitor will have its own voltage. Let me work for the voltage across C4 first. Okay. For C4, okay, the same one, C is equal to Q by V. So V becomes equal to Q by C, right? So I'm working for fourth one. So Q4 by C4. What is Q4? This itself is Q4, which is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 divided by what is C4? 100 picofarad. 100 into 10 to the power of minus 12, right? So after simplification, this is V4, okay? Voltage across capacitor 4, C4. Okay, simplify this. This will be 10 to the power of minus 12 and 10 to the power of minus 10 will be left, minus, okay, minus 12 plus 2 minus 10 comes here, becomes plus 2. Okay, so it is 200 volt. Okay, so V4, yes, it is 200 volt. Okay, so C4 has 200 volt. Okay, so we have found two terms necessary. One, charge on capacitor 4, which is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb, and the other, potential difference across capacitor 4, which is 200 volt. Okay, so now you can use this way, which we have not yet used, because the approach that I am going to consider now is used in electric charge, current electricity, but fine, you can use it now, because anyhow you will be learning it when we go there. So it's quite simple, easy, see, and we have discussed it, but yeah, fine. So when you have 300 volt of potential difference, voltage across this series combination, from here to here, okay, across this it is 200 volt. Okay, from here to here it is 200 volt. I can say from here to here it is 200 volt, and the rest of it will be here, so that the total potential difference is 300 volt. Okay, so I can write the total potential difference V is equal to potential difference across fourth capacitor C4 plus V123, this capacitor. Okay, this is V123. Okay, so solving this, V becomes equal to what is V4? 200. V4 is 200. What is V? V is given, no? 300 plus V123. V123 itself is what we need. So V123 is equal to 200 comes here, becomes 100 volt. Okay, you can directly write it, but you need to simplify it. It's always the good habit. So this C123 has the total charge of 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb, and the voltage across this C123 is simply 100 volt. Okay, so now C123 has 100 volt and this much of charge, but we don't want what is happening with C123. We are concentrated on C1, C2, C3, C4 individually. So let us see what is C123. C123 is the parallel combination of C1 and C23, and we have the potential difference across C123 equal to 100 volt. So the same potential difference, since they are connected in parallel, the effective and the given capacitors will have same potential difference because the connection is parallel. So even this C1, C23 will have the same potential difference, which is 100 volt. Okay, so from this I can write C1 or V1. Okay, V1 is equal to V23, potential difference across C23. V1 is equal to V23 is equal to 100 volt. Okay, because it's same. It's actually V123 equal to V1 equal to V23. Okay, V123 is equal to V1 is equal to V23 is equal to 100 volt. So 100 volt is the potential difference across C1. Okay, so another result we have obtained. Now we can get the charge stored on C1, right? That's easy. For first capacitor C1, Q1 is equal to C1 V1, right? What is C1? C1 is 100 picofarad minus 12 into what is V1? V1 is 100 volt. Simplify this, I will get 10 to the power of 2 plus 2, 4 minus 12, 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb. That's it. So, C1 has 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb of charge stored in it. Okay? Go easy. So, now you have the charge stored and potential difference across C1. So, two capacitors are solved. What we are left with is only C23. Okay? Now, let us solve for that. Okay. Now, from this we have obtained that C23 has the potential difference of 100 volt, which means from here to here, okay, from here to here it is 100 volt. The total potential difference from here to here is 100 volt, and this 100 volt is distributed equally among these two. Okay. So, before we go for that, we should get the charge stored in C23, okay, because the charge stored in C23 will be equal to charge stored in both C2 and C3, because they are in series. When in series, same charge; when in parallel, same potential difference. So, let me get the value of charge stored in C23. Charge stored in C23, which I can call as Q23, is equal to C23 into V23. V23 is potential difference across capacitor C23. Right. Look at that. What is C23? C23 is 100 picofarad. Right. And what is the potential difference? Potential difference is 100 volt again. So, Q23, the charge stored on C23 in C23 is 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb again. So, we know that since, okay, you write all the sentences like this for all the different situations that I took. Since C2 and C3 are in series, I can write series now. So, the charge will be same. Q23 is equal to Q2 is equal to Q3 is equal to 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb. So, C23 has 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb. Therefore, C2 will have 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb, and even C3 will have 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb. Okay. So, now we have charge on C2, C3, and what we finally need is potential difference across C2 and C3. Potential difference across C2, which I will call as V2, okay, is equal to, from the same formula, C is equal to Q by V, V becomes equal to Q by C. So, Q2 by C2, right. What is Q2? Charge stored on capacitor C2. Charge stored on capacitor C2 is 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb divided by, and C2, C2 value is, capacitance is 200 picofarad, 200 into 10 to the power of minus 12. You simplify this and you will get it's equal to 50 volt. Okay. So, we have potential difference across C2, okay, across this C2 given by 50 volt, this potential difference, and here potential difference across C3, okay. See, total potential difference from here to here is 100 volt, okay, because it is C23, they are in series, and but C23 and C1 were in parallel. So, the total potential difference from here to here is C23, right. So, the potential difference is not C23, it is 100 volt, right, 100 volt. So, out of that 100 volt, here it goes the 50 volt, okay, 50 volt is gone. What is left on the other side? Again it is simply 50 volt left on the other side of the other side or the other part of the combination. Okay, so that's it, we have everything now, but you should list them finally while writing. Okay, how do you list them? I mean, first represent, you can represent C1 has capacitor of 100 picofarad and the voltage across C1 that we have obtained is 100 volt, and the charge on C1. Okay, you should round them off, round all the results. Okay, this result, and finally even the last step that I said, the total potential difference across 2, 3, V2, 3 is equal to V2 plus V3, and V2 is 50, V2, 3 is 100. Okay, simplify that, you should simplify, V3 becomes equal to 50 volt. Okay, so this is how you should round them off, 1 result, 2 result, this is not a final result, this is intermediate one, and this 2. Okay, 2 plus 2, 4, and here is 1, 5, and a few which I have rubbed. Okay, wherever you get, and these 2, yeah, V1 equal to 100 volt, and 2 of them I have rubbed. So this is how you should round them or put them in box to represent. So C1 has the charge of, see what is the charge on C1? Q1 is 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb. So C2 has the capacitance of 200 picofarad, charge of 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb, potential difference of 50 volt. C3 has 200 picofarad capacitance, charge of 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb, potential difference of 50 volt. And C4 has the potential difference capacitance of how much? 100 picofarad, and the potential difference that we calculated V4, which was 200 volt, and the charge thus we obtained. Okay, all of them should be put there. So this gives you the complete solution. Right. So the next question, 28th, is as follows. Two capacitors of capacitance 600 picofarad and 900 picofarad are connected in series across 200 volt supply. Calculate the effective capacitance of the combination, the total charge stored in the system, total charge stored, okay, the potential difference across each capacitor. See now, see this question is very similar to what we did in the previous one, and very simple compared to the previous one. So I can say I'll give you the diagram, the circuit, you reduce it and make use of the techniques and methods that we and formula that we made use in solving the previous problem, 27th one, and solve this. Okay, you solve this by yourself. I'll give you the diagram. Diagram is as follows: the capacitors of capacitance 600 picofarad and 900 picofarad. Okay, so you have a capacitor of 600 picofarad and 900 picofarad connected in series. Okay, connected in series to 100 volt or 200 volt supply. Okay, so what you need to find here is effective capacitance. Okay, these two are in series. You put the formula CS is equal to C1 plus C2, C1 C2 by C1 plus C2, you will get it. Okay, first effective you do. Total charge stored in the system. Look, total charge stored in the system is the charge stored in the effective capacitance. Okay, so when you get the effective capacitance after reducing this, which will be, which you can call CS. Okay, the effective capacitance across CS. After solving this series combination, you get some effective capacitance, some capacitance CS. So the charge stored in CS will be the total charge stored in the system. Okay, effective one. So you'll have CS with you, and you have 200 volt potential difference connected to voltage is there, V is there, C is there, get Q, QS. Okay, QS has to be found. That's it, easy. And then that QS is equal to Q1 is equal to Q2 because series combination. So both of them will have same charges of CS. Potential difference across each, which means V1 and V2. So same way, C is equal to Q by V, V is equal to Q by C, V is equal to V1 is equal to Q1 by C1, V2 is equal to Q2 by C2. Okay, that's it. Quite easy. Simplify this carefully, we'll get the solution.